for 2 by 2 is static. Alright, that's 4492. You're picking up the 13 after, what are you picking up the 1011 to
5, 7, 5, 6,
show you around.
5, 8. Channel mode. Channel mode.
Can you contact the 79 unconfirmed EDP Marcy process?
Highway 101 for CCAP. 10-4K, looks like here at 649 they put that they exchange information and requested to cancel CAP. 10-4K.
Contact the 75 and confirm EDP 295 Convene, apartment 5.
What's up, John? How you doing this morning? Oh yeah, you sound familiar. Yeah, I do believe you're the Australian. Pretty slow last night. All we did was a fire, report of fire on the roof upon my arrival. Did not see any flames, but did see smoke. We did see a couple of ladders extended to that roof. Firefighters operating, but don't believe anybody was hurt. We didn't see anybody hurt. And no crazy smoke or fire. A little bit of smoke, but definitely did not see any fire. Besides that, nothing really eventful happened. There was a barricaded perp in Brooklyn, but if he wasn't someone really important that they needed to arrest, usually not a big deal. Or if nobody was hurt from that incident, or the barricaded person did not take any hostages, usually not a something that's newsworthy. Yeah, I think what it means is don't tailgate, but yeah, I usually don't tailgate vehicles anyway. First night is always the toughest because, you know, took off the previous night. Had a super busy weekend. As you know, big things happened. I had the exclusive on a perp walk. This guy is a school paraprofessional, did some things with underage girl. I was the only one who got the shot of him. So that was that went pretty well. As far as newsworthiness and how many stations you saw that video on TV. Next day, also another big story, tragic story. As you know, I'm sure you know anybody does know if they follow us or follow New York City news in general. Tragic story: officer was fatally shot, killed in the line of duty. So originally they were saying the perp was struggling with an officer because the officers originally anti-crime cops stopped this individual suspecting of wanting to question him, you know. As you know, anti-crime units, what they do is they get guns off the streets. That's one of the main. They may stop may think it may be suspicious, sketchy, whatever. So this guy was one of those guys. So after they tried stopping him, they ran away. Or I think it was just one guy. He ran away. They caught up with him, ended up getting on the ground wrestling with this guy, and the cop on body camera did say, you know, he's reaching for it, and that is when shots were fired. Upon the initial investigation. So where was I? Yeah, so anyway, in the first press conference, they stated it was an officer's firearm which fired the shots. So during that struggle, at least my guess was during that struggle, the officer fired shots at the perp but ended up shooting himself. The second press conference, they said that, I believe they said it was the officer's partner who fired the shots. So struggling on the ground, you're trying to shoot the perp, you ended up shooting your partner. I can see how that can happen because of that struggle, right? You might be aiming for one guy, you shoot the other guy. We don't know 100% what exactly happened, but it's a very chaotic situation to be in. So I can even imagine what it's like for the officers. But yeah, that was a big story. I took a couple of nights off just to take a break. I was up that night, I think, from when it happened around 11, 12-ish up until probably 10 a.m. in the morning. So I was working that story for hours. I wasn't home by like 10 or 11 a.m. in the morning because we had so many stations interested in this story, and our competitor didn't see too much of him. So I pretty much had, and I also had the exclusive on the Stringer exclusive that is on the press conference, whereas my competitor didn't show up for that. So So anyway, glad we are reconnected. Let's hope it doesn't disconnect again. And it always happens by the bridge as well, for some reason. Who knows why. John, nowhere, just driving around Brooklyn right now. Actually, I'm headed home, so see if we get anything on the way back, which is what I usually do anyway. Listen to the local precincts on the way back, because you never know.
Confined to the 4-8, receiving unconfirmed shots fired at 1932 Potomac Parkway, Elsmell Place to East Street North, unconfirmed.
Wrong time for shots fired in the Bronx, because we are far away from the Bronx right now. What other news happened? Newark, someone jumped out of the second floor, Newark, New Jersey. Someone jumped out of the second floor. Is this smoke that I'm seeing?
8-4 boy. One more bus to my location. 10-5 there, you want another bus to that location of EMS? Permanent Central. All right, 10-4, I have to respond.
I think I'm seeing smoke there. I'm not sure, but that definitely is smoke. But I have no idea.
048, unconfirmed, 10-10 shots fired, 1932 Crotona Parkway, unconfirmed.
But I have no idea what the cause of that smoke is.
Cat 704, radio station WIF 559, zone 21, Formula 7272, 76801. Location, non-emergency, airborne here at West 9. 10-4, 76 Sergeant. 10 Sergeant. Response to David's location, Hamilton Avenue, West 9th Street, Hamilton Avenue, West 9th Street, non-emergency. response to.
Fourth, 52, you got a call back?
Number, number.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. All I know is probably it wasn't legitimate. Otherwise, you would see firefighters on the scene, which definitely was not the case here. Oh.
Two response, supervisor sent the call back. Chance they're gonna win.
That is correct, John. I'm in Brooklyn. You ever been in Brooklyn, John?
Northbound Major Deacon at West 2303. There's a disabled person in the right lane.
Emergency service, Adam 9.
Oh boy.
Adam 9, non-confirmed rescue to 107, 127, 45. Cardiac and a 1965.
The license plate.
Heavy duty, please. Plate number is George Larry Victor 3961.
Yeah, you can request a heavy duty central.
Heavy duty cell 10 for post now. 103 responding, northbound Deacon at 230 food truck.
Bronx is hot. Well, nothing really happened yet. Yeah, I heard that it was a disabled vehicle, I think, something like that, but definitely not a pin job. Definitely nobody trapped in a vehicle. Nothing too crazy like that. Nobody shot. Nobody was shot last night. Great job, New York City. Nobody was shot last night. Nobody was stabbed last night. Not that I heard of, at least. I mean, sometimes you get like these, these really small, quiet jobs where someone will get slashed and we won't find out about it or we won't know about it. But those aren't usually a big deal. Especially if they already arrested the guy. Because it's more of a big deal if someone random slashes or stabs someone else who's random, and they run away, or it's a robbery maybe, and now police are looking for this guy. Now they're going through security camera footage. They're putting, they're sending the video out to the press. The press is publishing this security camera video all over TV. That's more of a big deal. And less of a big deal if it's just if the perp was known to the victim. The perp was known to the victim, like a family dispute issue or some domestic violence thing. Unless of course it was fatal. Then it would be like a homicide, and that's usually newsworthy. John, I'm just going home. OJ Steaks, yeah, I do believe we do ride-alongs. You just gotta, message us. There usually is a price as well. And we got to make sure that ideally you don't live in New York City, right? Because we're not trying to, you know, train people or show them what. But yeah, ideally you do live outside of New York City. That's some of the things we look for. But yeah, it's a case-by-case basis. You're not guaranteed the ride along or anything, you know.
Adam 1. Can I unit? 76 Adam 1. 76 Adam 1. Adam 1.
My plans for today: go home and sleep, wake up, do some businessy tasks, and then hit the road again tomorrow night. I mean tonight.
Possible. 3277, gonna be descending team for 1035 again.
Yep, we got BP gas stations. It's funny, we call it gas here. But yeah, I totally get the British terminology, because back when I was in Asia, we used to say petrol as well. You should like some petrol, mate. Would you like some petrol for your car? I think I hear cops going somewhere, but I'm not sure what that job is.
72 response to 10-5, your message.
But I like to think I'm not terrible at it. Do you know what I mean, mate? Do you know what I mean?
Units upon arrival at an ADP assignment officers are reminded to use time distance to cover. I city continues now, like the portion of possible route 584.
Yeah, I like doing impressions. By the way, I uploaded a bunch of YouTube videos.
I mean, that units remember to give 72 Charlie. Did you go by looking for callback? 10 plus standby. Show 10 4. 10 plus 15.
Yeah, if you live here and you have the Citizen app, you pretty much can know about what is going on around your neighborhood or where you are or wherever you're at. However, every night what we do is go to breaking news stories overnight, right? So anything that happens in the 5 boroughs, or it could even be Long Island, New Jersey, upstate, we will go to those incidents, those stories, if it happens overnight. And it'll most likely end up on the morning news. That is if something even happens. Last night, nothing happened. I can tell you some of the things that happened, but none of them were newsworthy. Such as that barricaded perp in East New York, who cops had to chase after. He barricaded himself in an apartment. Now, don't get me wrong, if I was close to East New York at the time, I would have definitely went there, because it's always cool to catch NYPD and ESU and, you know, in action, suited up with M4 rifles, and always like pursuits as well, because it's always fun to film. But if I'm 30 minutes away and, you know, nobody's hurt at that barricaded perp, or this isn't a guy who's even important, like if he was wanted for, like, you know, shooting and killing 3 people or something like that, that could justify my driving 30 minutes for it, but definitely not, yeah. What's up, OG Steaks?
A4 response, proceed.
Do you cook steaks? I haven't cooked a steak in a while.
For which street? Gold Street or Lawrence?
But if I did, I'd probably do it on a cast iron pan, grill, whatever. That's indoor. Outdoor, probably do it on a like a, you know, like a grill, outdoor grill. Well, I think they finally got done with this construction. I don't see... If anyone knows Park Slope area, Sunset Park, whatever, they used to have these construction like on the center, and I still have no idea what they did, because it looks the same. It's not like... So what exactly did they do? It's kind of strange. Oh, wait a minute. They added bike lanes. I think that's what they did. There are now bike lanes on the right side of the street. I just wonder how far it goes down. Because I think they used to not be bike lanes here, but let's see how far it goes down. Of course, kind of not surprised that cop cars are all over the bike lane here, if this is indeed the bike lane. Looks like this precinct has some trailers out here. Not sure what that's for. But yeah, as you can see, the cyclists do now have a bike lane on the right side.
78 Charlie 1.
And I think what they're going to do, like they've done back there, is that they're going to shift.
78 Charlie in there.
They're going to shift the vehicles to there, creating a wall, and the bikes will be next to the sidewalk, creating those parked cars, that wall of parked cars. Because it's all about the protected bike lanes. You don't want to ride next to the moving cars. You want cars protecting you. Similar to First Avenue in the city. I think I see what they've done here. They have cut the curb, because the curb I think used to be wider. They've cut the curb to make it to widen the road. Room for this bike lane. Pretty interesting. That makes me want to bike again. Actually, you know what? I was thinking I should do a story on biking in New York City, cycling and such, because I used to be a bike messenger. And I should do it where, you know, I'll wear like a GoPro, and I'm going to show two different cycling styles. I'm going to compare the times of how fast it is to get to places. I'm also going to compare riding styles. This is if I do it, of course. I'm going to compare riding styles of, let's say, how a bike messenger would ride, which means, you know, I would run all the red lights and stop signs and go through pedestrians and all that kind of stuff, because that's what a bike messenger would do. Then I would ride like a commuter, like a safe, and obey all traffic signals and such, and then compare that, like how fast it is to get around the city. Also compare the dangers. Wow, they did a widened road here as well. Look, and I think it's all for the bike lanes. So this totally makes sense. And then, of course, you know, I would compare. I guess my conclusion would be, you know, that it can be dangerous for cyclists, but it also depends on the style of how you ride. And I would also show all kinds of road hazards and you know, how the bike lanes aren't even necessarily the safest place to be, because you'll have cars turning onto those bike lanes on intersections. It could be a story, but you know. But we'll see. I, for one, don't even have a bicycle anymore. And I would hate to rent one of those city bikes. Because, and not that I've rode them before, I just heard they are super heavy. So definitely not looking forward to that. So yeah, they're definitely widening. I definitely see what they're doing here. They've made the center divider shorter in order to make room for this, the bike lanes and such. Could be interesting when it's done.
8-4, boy. EA 30 minutes, and that was from 7:14 to 7:24 now. You're welcome. 8-4, boy, you never made it to your 10-11 commercial road, right?
6-8. 6-7-2.
What's up, Jason? Good morning. No, just a roof fire, which did not have much flames or smoke. But kind of typical. I wasn't expecting too much for a Wednesday night, you know? Or was it a third? No, I think it was a Wednesday night. No, I think it was a Tuesday night. And today's Wednesday.
Cyclist box 216-71555 Rockland Parkway. Okay. 11 lane. Great, manual lock and Andrews. Request box 216-71555 Rockaway Causeway. Street Avenue, J. John, and 11 lane. Manual lock and Andrews. 226 schedule.
Yeah, as I was saying, uploaded a few YouTube videos. One of them was a Washington Bridge stabbing, and we actually had to cross. We had to go on the pedestrian path, and in the pedestrian tunnel, there were a bunch of sketchy homeless folks, you know. So we had to avoid them. We went actually on the street and cross where the cars were in order to avoid them. And yeah, we eventually did get to in the middle of the bridge, the pedestrian walkway, and did we be able to photograph that crime scene. That's one of them. It was also Washington Heights stabbing. By the bus stop, police brought the victim to the hospital because they couldn't wait for the ambulance. The ambulance was taking too long. So great job by the NYPD bringing that slashing victim to the hospital themselves, who was badly slashed, by the way, multiple times. There was that perp walk as well that I uploaded from Saturday night. There was also a collision investigation of a scooter. I think one of those electric riding electric scooters, the ones you stand up on. I think either the rider fell or somebody hit this scooter rider and ran away. One of those things. And but apparently the victim wasn't that badly injured, and they canceled the collision investigation. But that was way far out in Queens. And of course, in Staten Island, and this was from and I think this was from Friday night. Staten Island police in an unmarked vehicle swerved to avoid hitting a skateboarder, but they ended up hitting him anyway, as well as colliding with a civilian SUV. That I just uploaded as well. This morning. So quite a few videos, and I only didn't upload it sooner because it was just so busy on the weekend, and I finally got the time to do it. But yeah, I should be out tonight. Definitely look forward to catching me live then. We did go live last night. Roof fire in Manhattan, Greenwich Village. Posted the camcorder video as well as the live video as well. So yeah, feel free to check that out, Jason. But yeah, catch you guys tonight. I'm done here. Adam Belhadge of Loud Labs News NYC. Take care, folks.